So we will continue using deductive reasoning with this example, and it states, 5 friends meet at the movie theater. Sasha is not the first to arrive. Sally is neither the first nor the last to arrive. Sam arrives right after Sasha. Sylvia is the third person to arrive, and Steffi arrives 2 people ahead of Sylvia. Use deductive reasoning to determine the order in which the friends arrive at the movie theater. Now, keep in mind that deductive reasoning doesn't necessarily see a pattern of observances. What we're doing is we're going to collect information, gather up information to support a hunch that we may have about what is occurring. Now, this example is very similar to the previous Clue example. We've got all kinds of stuff happening here. So in Clue, the player uses a scorecard to organize the information they are collecting as they play the game to help in drawing their conclusion. So we're going to do the same for this. We should make a table to help organize our thoughts. So for expediency's sakes, I already have the table made right here, but you should do the same thing. And as you can see here, along the left-hand side, I have the friends here listed. And across the top here, I have the order in which they arrive. And I'm going to use this table to help organize the information we collect, similar to the table or the scorecard used in Clue. Now, there are 2 ways of getting information out of this word problem here. That's explicit. I'm just going to write it in right here. Explicit information and implicit information. And explicit information is when something is specifically stated directly, while implicit information is where something is not directly stated, but it's implied to be there. And I'll show you what we mean. So as we read this, 5 friends meet at the movie theater. Sasha is not the first to arrive. So this is an explicit statement. Sasha is not the first to arrive. It's stated specifically. So what I'm going to do in my table here is Sasha is not the first to arrive. So here's Sasha. I'm just going to put an X right here. She's not the first to arrive. I'm going to go on to the next sentence. Sally is neither the first nor the last to arrive. So Sally is not first, and she's not last. I'm just going to fill in those spaces. Sam arrives right after Sasha. So Sam arrives right after Sasha. So I don't know when Sasha arrives, so I can't necessarily fill that out, but there is something that's implied. Sam arrives right after Sasha. So that means that Sasha could not have been last, because for Sasha to be last, then Sam couldn't have arrived after her. So it's implied that Sasha was not last. Even though it's not stated specifically, it's implied to be that way. So as we continue, Sylvia is the third person to arrive. Now that's a specific, explicit statement. So Sylvia is the third to arrive. So I'm just going to put a green check mark there. So even though this is an explicit statement, Sylvia is not the third to arrive. Sylvia is the third to arrive. It also implies that she wasn't second, wasn't first, wasn't fourth, and was not the fifth. It also implies that Sam was not the third to arrive, neither Steffi or Sally or Sasha. So then as we continue, and Steffi arrives 2 people ahead of Sylvia. So Steffi arrives 2 people ahead of Sylvia. So then Steffi must have been first. And then, of course, that means Sam was not first. That also means that she was not second, fourth, or fifth. So now as I read all those statements, I'm going to kind of go through here again and glean more information out of here. And as I see right here, Sam arrives right after Sasha. Sam arrives right after Sasha. Well, Sam did not arrive third, so that means Sasha could not have been second. So therefore, Sasha had to be the fourth to arrive. And if Sasha was the fourth to arrive, and Sam comes right after her, so that must mean Sam was fifth. And then I can eliminate the rest just like this. The only one left, that's Sally coming in second. So what we have is Steffi arrived first, Sally arrived second, Sylvia arrived third, Sasha arrived fourth, and then Sam arrived fifth. So we gathered up all this information, drew our conclusion, simply using a table. And there you go.